Hey everybody. so I'm I'm here. I'm visiting my mom. She had to get her hair cut off today because she started chemo this week. So prayers up for her. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel as I try to grow it. And I'm just gonna give y'all my thoughts on Harlem. So I started watching Harlem last season, and I didn't think it was necessarily the best show or the worst. And I was never an Insecure fan. I know some people's mouth probably dropped to the floor, but it just to me was very California black. I'll leave it there. There's only a small pension of people that would possibly understand that. But nevertheless, the few episodes that I did see of Insecure, I mean, I was like, yeah, I can see why people are into it. I just wasn't into it. But anyway, it feels like an East Coast version of Harlem. I mean, of Insecure, when a show like Harlem could take on a whole different life of its own if it wasn't an LA show, LA kind of idea rooted in New York. So, like, I remember, like, when they had a Def Comedy Jam special, one of the things they had in an interview, like Chris Rock was saying, the reason why Def Comedy Jam was different was because it was New York, it was grungy, it was raw, and that's what made it different. He was like, because even things like Saturday Night Live, they go, "Hey, live from New York." He was like, "But it's Hollywood," and so I feel like that's kind of what Harlem is giving. So Harlem season 2, episode 1, Takesies Backsies, and I'm gonna do both episodes. And then they tried to play us. You remember Amazon let us had a whole season last time? And now they just doling out episodes, trying to see if we're going to come back. But anyway, so we start exactly where we left off with Ian, who is Camille's boyfriend, played by Megan Good. And this is directed by Megan Good. So Mira catches them kissing, and she walks down the stairs. You know, they separate or whatever, and pretends she doesn't see them. And I thought initially, like, they were just trying to mind fuck us into believing that she wasn't, basically didn't see it, or like Camille mentally was seeing this as her dream and it really didn't happen. And then I thought, as she was walking closely downstairs and then she got closer to them, I was like, she about to whoop Camille's ass. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be something like that. Camille, girl, how you gonna fuck this up? For Quinn and her 73 questions opportunity for up and coming designers in Vogue, girl. Come on. Okay, I hope it lasts. Because if not, if I was Quinn, I'd be mad as fuck. Anyway, I'll say this. I think they wrote the concept of the four main characters well. And this is what I mean. Like, I believe that there was somebody who sat down and wrote this. And the way they had the characters and the array of characters, like somebody being an adjunct professor, knowing what it is to get a PhD in something and expecting a professorship job because that's what they trained you to do, but then they won't hire you for anything else because the university has become so corporatized. That whole concept of a black woman having to go through that to me is substantial. So I'll say this. I think they wrote the characters well. I think they even casted for who the characters were supposed to be decently. But one of the things that occurred to me is that this cast doesn't really have chemistry. Other than co-workers, they just appear to be co-workers in a Hollywood production, which makes their interactions hard to believe. Like, one of the things last season that stood out to me, I just felt like the chances of a gay woman being friends primarily with three heterosexual women at the time, until like the last episode or so, the chances of that being the dynamic is just rare. Primarily because you have friends, unless you like grew up with them and they met each other in college. Unless you grew up with them, it's rare that you'll have friends to that degree in a friend group like that without anybody else having that kind of similarities, because the kind of stuff you talk about. I also think the character concepts are great, but I also think they're just not developed well. Like, I feel like there's a lot of I don't like the over sexualization of Ty, right? I feel like, yes, we have male characters who act like that in movies because they act like that in real life. Okay? Like, not hard to believe. But I feel like to have a gay woman and over sexualize her is a wasted opportunity. There has to be more to being gay than having sex with somebody of the same sex. Like, it just has to be. And that, for me, is one dimensional. Angie's character. Angie, it's funny and it's cute, but all she's doing is like screwing various people and enjoying it. And, the actor, the starving artist kind of approach, living off her friend. Now, it's amazing to me, all the conversations, the bullshit conversations people have had about colorism on fucking Potomac. When we know these are just a bunch of bitches that don't like each other, and that's the nature of the game, of the show, that whole franchising concept. Okay, miss me, no, I still don't think that's colorism. I just think they're a bunch of bitches who do fucked up shit to each other. Period. It's not because somebody's dark skinned or somebody's, light skinned and think they better and all this other bullshit. But these characters here, we have the gay one-dimensional character, the Angie character who is, dark skinned, but also another extremely sexualized character, as many of them are with the exception of Megan Good. And that's an old stereotype of black women that comes all the way back from slavery to justify the constant abuse and rape against black women. Oh, they like it. That's just what they are. So it wasn't rape when it was done to African descended women. So I feel like for her to not, and then to be rejected by her bisexual boyfriend, who we can tell in real life is gay. And then just to have sex with multiple people without really having more development to her character, to me, that's when those conversations of colorism should come in. But no, some people are just so hell-bent on crying wolf or saying just because somebody likes it doesn't like it. I'm telling you, that shit starting your family. But this shit here, a Hollywood casting production that has to go through all these different things, was on purpose. All right, anyway, but nevertheless, so Camille fucks up the game. Anyway, so you get Angie and Eric. She wrote a letter complaining about the ending of Get Out to Jordan Peele, which destroyed his like big break opportunity and hers. So Eric basically, wants her keys back. It's like, it's been fun. And that was like the guy who was gay, and then they were together and he was bisexual. And then I was just like, that relationship was bound to fail. Anyway, did anybody catch the next scene while Megan Good was working out and trying to show us how snatched she was? Okay. And snatched. Not gonna take it from you, sis. She ended up in that same green dress we saw Robin in on Potomac in the confessional. I said, child, I don't know who's doing it, but Robin, take a note from Megan Good. That's how the dress is supposed to be worn. You wasn't wearing it right. Next. Okay, so we get the brunch scene. That is common to the Harlem millennial scene. Okay, I personally don't care for brunch, but that's everybody else's thing. So Angie is back to no big break, no job, no down low bisexual boyfriend, and she's a little upset about that. Camille talking about all the pain she caused by fucking up Mira's wedding, kissing Ian. She quit her job, drunk on the doorstep of her superior at Columbia University. Yeah, but even at the table, like, Camille is like taking up space and ignoring like the apology she should have made to Quinn over and over again for fucking up her opportunity in Variety. Ty, I feel like, is their DEI character. Like their equity and inclusion character. It's just real hard to believe. Like, I don't know, it just seems overdone. Whatever. All these bitches, if we would be honest, are pretty self-absorbed. Except for Quinn. And that's because she like like bird brain kind of person. Anyway, so Megan Good was serving a real Chloe, Halle, I don't know the difference, Bailey, tease with her hair, her faux locks looking like Ariel. I ain't mad, girl, them under the sea faux locks. So anyway, Megan Good basically quit her contingent position at Columbia because Quinn's rich ass told her to quit. Okay, talking about a Takesies Backsies. Now, when I heard this, I was like, I don't like the way they act like the quote unquote light skinned girl had a white upbringing because of her money. I just don't like that. And I'm just like, cut it out. We already know she has Jamaican immigrant parents. Girl, bye. They were not talking to you like that. I refuse to believe it. Okay? And I don't care what people's ignorance is. Yes, light-skinned people live in Jamaica. Okay? They were not raising you like that. We got Jasmine Guy and then Rick Fox is her father. I'm telling you right now. What y'all not gonna do is play with us like Jamaican immigrants. Talk to their kids like that. Okay, so the Takesies Backsies miss me with the bullshit. So why is Camille trying to apologize to Ian's family? Was I the only one like, huh? Like, let him do it. It was his wedding. Shit. Like, why are you being honest with Jameson? You don't have to tell him everything, girl. He's a keeper. You know, it's always the ones you really like that are the most toxic. Maybe that's me. Okay, anyway. So Quinn discovering that she's a lesbian or part of the LGBTQ plus community in your 30s, I feel like that's kind of whack. And making it seem, and I think it also makes it seem like it's a choice. Like she got tired of men and decided to try women. Right? Like, even if people have never engaged in sexual acts, I think as homosexuals, I do think as many gay people have come out and said, there was always something I knew was different about my attraction to people. I don't know. So for me, I just kind of feel like in your 30s, it's just immediate. Like, it's just giving I'm mad at men and I thought this was going to work a different way. Snooze. Okay. You know, even people who haven't felt safe to live their truth know what they want sexually internally, whether they've expressed it or not. So anyway, the dynamic between Camille and Dr. Pruitt, honestly, is facts. Okay, I earned my PhD in history. Okay, and I had a black dissertation advisor at UCLA. That's not a guarantee. Go back and look at my other videos. But anyway, the young black adjunct PhD, which is where they really pay you shit salary, which is why I was not going on the adjunct circuit. After I got my PhD, I was like, I'll go and teach him where I can have some benefits and do something else. And some people do and some people don't. Some people stay in the adjunct position, which is basically like when they need you, they'll let you know contractually when they want you to teach a class, so on and so forth. And then like you usually don't have benefits. A lot of those people are usually married to somebody who has benefits or get married. But it's not a good position to be. I don't care if it is at Columbia or Yale or Harvard. They pay you poorly. Well, anyway, the dynamic is facts, right? Because she got passed over for a permanent professorship. They were like, well, they skipped over me for an associate professorship. Megan Good, that's not how it works. You go from adjunct to assistant. Unless you have a book we don't know about. It's assistant, associate, full professor. Those are the ranks. An associate means you're tenured. Assistant means that you have, job consistency until you work for tenure. So I just do a little research on. Okay, anyway. But that is exactly how she was expressing herself on the steps is exactly how so many people feel. How a black woman would feel when a black woman comes in and you've admired their work, but they come in and shit on you and treat you like you are nothing. Not only because you're an adjunct, because you're black and people are less likely to take up for you in the workplace. Facts, you got that much right. It hit Dr. Pruitt. I feel like that's why she let Camille come back and beg for her job on her doorstep. I feel like what she said, it hit her. Yep. But we're going to watch that develop in the next episodes. So the sex toy shop. The over-sexualization of this gay woman is the worst. So Quinn is not 19. Okay, cut it. So Ty is pissed about Brandon, basically her husband. Now this is what I'm talking about. You got this group of friends who've known each other since college. Y'all don't know that Ty got married to a man. Right? Okay, sure. It's possible. But y'all are supposed to be so close. All three of y'all should be pissed off with her. You mean to tell me you had to have fibroids and emergency in the hospital to find out that this man existed in your life? And nobody feels a way about it. Like nobody feels any kind of way about it. Right. Okay. Anyway. Queen, you're not 19. I already said that. Cut it. All right. So Ty is pissed about Brandon reading the fuck out of her. I just... Anyway, Brandon's pissed, I feel like, because he was duped into believing you were a heterosexual at some point. And she is mad. He called her out and then her friends didn't disagree. Well, sis, live better. Anyway, so they go, and after, the pedicures, that's how the two groups meet up. Well, three groups break down. Camille goes home to change her clothes. Ty and Quinn go to the toy shop, and then you get Angie, who decides she heard a man who may or may not have been homeless with a foil head tell her that something great was in her future, and she meets this fine guy who's doing a pedicure who apparently leaves his job. I don't know if he clocked out or not, and next thing you know, they screwing. She screws him based on the prophecy of foil head, and then she wants to fuck Jaquan, his roommate. Huh? Like, okay, like I just need them to give these people more depth. Like, yes, sex is a big part of adult life, but so is everything else going on in their lives. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, it's giving stereotypical vibes that all right, Ty wants a puppy, then she doesn't. Okay, then she go and get a plan. We'll get to that. So Camille apologizes to Ian's mom. I was like, bitch, I would not have gone over there, but okay. But according to her, Ian's mom apparently confessed she hoped they would get back together when she came to apologize. She was talking to Ty about how happy she was and how she fixed most of her mistakes. And as she's saying it, Mira shows up because, one, she's outside of what should have been her future mother-in-law's door. And I'm not talking about Camille. What was supposed to be Mira's future mother-in-law's door. All right, so so Mira shows up, and Mira basically, tells her to fuck off. Okay, that honestly was very nice considering what you did, Camille. So Camille shows back up at Dr. Pruitt's door. Camille, your life is a mess, but at least we get to see your life. We want the other three to get some depth, okay? Some real depth. Anyway, she shows up at Dr. Pruitt's door to own her decision to quit after Mira tells her to own what she did and fuck off. I kind of felt like she did own it, but that's just me. So she said to Dr. Pruitt, look, I'm going to fulfill my contractual obligation to finish my summer course, but then I'm quitting for sure. And Dr. Pruitt was like, I guess I can actually respect that. And quite frankly, Dr. Pruitt, you wasn't trying to look for nobody to finish summer school. Anyway, so Quinn has Isabella, the running politician who is gay, and basically sets up a date with her. All right. And it takes 2 seconds. They walk to the apartment and then they're having sex. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? There's got to be more to gay people than this. I refuse to believe it's not. All right. So she brings out all the sex toys that she got for over $4,000 in the store messing around with Ty. And her date started laughing and said, you bought this for me? And she was like, yeah, I just wanted it to be right. And she was like, you're what makes it right. I was like, really, bitch? Okay, first of all, even as a heterosexual woman, I'm just trying to think in your mind, Isabella, or script writers, you didn't ask her if she bought those specific items as I was looking, and you didn't think to ask her if she still liked dick? That shit was lame to watch, and I really don't think nobody would have just been like, you didn't have to do all this. Like, why would you have a bunch of dicks? Like, I know, I imagine that there are lesbians who use straps, but I'm just saying, like, that many? That sounds like to me you still like men and women are just a distraction for you. But okay, girl, we gonna keep it going. So Ty finds a plant after she came to her better senses about a puppy. She gets pissed about the price, gets it, then gets the plant home, and it falls into the dishwasher. Not the dishwasher, what do you call it? The garbage. I don't know why that was funny to me, but it was funny. So Angie dresses as her own identical twin, fucks Jaquan, Kendrick's roommate, okay, who's supposed to be the man of her dreams. Anyway, then we get this scene where Jameson showed up at Camille's door. First of all, I didn't know they had been dating that long. Even in the last season, it seemed like they had known each other for like 2 weeks. But anyway, Jameson shows up at her door, and tells her he called Chicago, University of Chicago, canceled the job and is staying in New York. And Megan Good is like, oh. I knew when Jameson texted her when she was on her way to Dr. Pruitt, and he was like, hey, where are you trying? He said, hey, something like I'm coming to see you. And she sent him like a thumbs up. I said, you already know it's going to be some fuck shit. All right, so I'm going to do both episodes. So episode 2 picks up right there with the Jameson stuff. Episode 2, if you can't say anything nice. Okay, so she tells Jameson she doesn't want to be responsible for a major life decision. Like, essentially, I didn't ask you to quit that job. He was like, I'm sorry, I thought we were getting serious. So he said, let me make it simple. Basically, do you want to be with me? Yes or no? And she kind of does one of the, and he was like, message received, and walked away. Right? But I know, even if a man walk away like that, he got an axe to grind. Okay? Camille, your life is fucked up, girl. Like, real. Girl, get it together. So Isabella and Camille are screwing. Okay? In case they didn't make that really obvious to us. Angie came in trying to tell Quinn, not Isabel and Camille, I'm sorry. Isabel and Quinn, I'm sorry, are screwing. All right, because we didn't see that one coming. All right, so Angie comes in and she's looking for Quinn. Of course, to tell her business and her story too. And she's telling her about having slept with the roommates and the roommate cousin, apparently. And she doesn't get to, and her and Quinn are like sharing stories, and then Isabella interrupted. And it just seems like not believable to me that Quinn is gay. I'm sorry. And being gay, like I said, I just think there's more to it than that. And somebody in their 30s isn't just discovering that. They might be just now open about it. But it just, the so-called discovery is kind of whack. Anyway, so, yeah. Angie's a one-dimensional character. So Camille and Ann, okay? So they're talking about basically what happened in terms of the breakup she caused, and because he showed up in her class and basically shows about her job and walks back to the apartment. They're talking about it, and he's talking about how her mom, Mira's mom, was screaming at his mom about not talking sense into him, and he was like, I'm a grown man, this, that, and the other. I can't believe she thought that. And they're both just laughing like it was nothing. And I was like, so many red flags. If you ever want to know how a man speaks about women or will speak about you behind your back, just listen to how he talks about women when he is around you. Just saying. Camille, you passed the age where you're supposed to know better. Okay. So Camille's apartment is nice, but no way in adjunct salary is she living like that in Harlem. Okay, I know. Okay. Anyway, Camille and Ian got into it. I know it's probably somebody living in like Pittsburgh or New Orleans going, y'all think that's nice? Yup. But the price is here. Anyway, so Camille and Ian eventually get into it, and he wanted to know why she didn't tell Jameson about them getting back together. And she was basically like, well, he kind of dumped me first. So what was I supposed to do? Chasing down the street and go, oh, and by the way, I'm back with my ex-boyfriend. And I was kind of with her on that. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, he gets mad because she didn't and said he called off his wedding for her. Sir, all that shit was a choice. Okay? And you didn't want to marry her. And it seems like that's why you and Camille broke up first, in the first place. Because you apparently don't know how to take responsibility for shit. All right. Then we get to this website called shebetoxic.com. So Ty is known as Trashy Ty on there. People have basically, she finds out from one of her old lovers on the street that somebody who ghosted her, I don't know, whatever. And they were like, yeah, a lot of people know all about how you leave women, how you just run through them, you run through everybody in Harlem, this, that, and the other. And so she's looking on it like, I can't believe all these people have talked about my business. You reap what you sow. All right. It was the She Be Toxic that was killing me though. So then conveniently, Dr. Camille notices her name is on here. And it said, Professor Parks gets what she wants, and then she ghosts you. Also, she's pretty, but broke as fuck. I was like, well, facts. But also, she was like, I can't believe Jameson said that. So we find out later in the episode Jameson didn't say it. I personally think it's Dr. Pruitt. I think it's Dr. Pruitt. Because Dr. Pruitt gave her a little leeway. It feels like she gave her something. And she knows she broke. Because she got to approve her pay and her position at the school. Anyway, I'm just saying that's who I think it is. It has not been revealed, but that's just what I think. I'm calling it. All right, so Angie meets Marcus in the bodega. Marcus does not look straight. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway. Turns out Marcus can't fuck, but he has money in a nice house. And as far as Angie is concerned, Quinn is going to put her out. Why? And I've heard this before. Lesbians move quickly and move in with each other quickly, so on and so forth. So Jameson... All right, so we get that out of the way. All right, so Jameson shows up at Camille's house again. And he texts her and says, I'm outside. Well, once you outside, motherfucker, it ain't really no warning, but okay. Unannounced to drop off her stuff. And he still had the keys. Girl, you should have got... Oh, I know you was... Oh, I would have changed them locks quick. Anyway, so Jameson shows up at Camille's house unannounced to drop off her stuff. And then uses it as a way to continue to get mad and express his fucking anger. Okay, I knew he wasn't done. And she brings up the fact, well, you didn't have to put me on the internet. And he was like, what? He said, wow, this person really got you down, but that wasn't me. Like I said, I think it's Dr. Pruitt is posting on She Be Toxic. Anyway, so Ty meets up with Zoe. Zoe is the other person who's been getting trashed on She Be Toxic. Okay? Having women act like men by talking about shit about women and how they're needy and get emotionally attached. And I'm not saying that there probably aren't gay women that think that. This is women that think that. But, I mean, straight women that think that. Having women act like men by talking shit about women is not as progressive as you think you're being. It actually is just a way of reinforcing stereotypes about women, their needs, their sexuality, and diminishing it. Just saying. Okay, so they basically damn near start fucking in a dive bar. And the next thing you know, they end up back at Ty's apartment, and they basically agree after they screw. Well, I'll talk to you later, or maybe not. Like two people like that. We'll see how that turns out. So Quinn and Isabella, we get them again. They're coming back from dinner after going to see a spoken word lesbian show that Isabella, as somebody who apparently always knew she was a lesbian, or, you know, is familiar with this, found this fuckery. And I could agree. Anyway, so Isabella's like, well, look, I want to go home. And I just have a lot to do. And she's like, oh, no, come on, stay. And basically, Isabella doesn't want a relationship right now. And she says that. She wants to win her election. She needs to focus on that. And Quinn says, well, I came out for you. And she was like, no, you came out for you. Like, that's something you needed to do. So Quinn says she feels stupid. She starts crying on the sidewalk. I was like, girl, I know what it is to have a rough day like that in New York, but you crying on the sidewalk, nobody's going to care. So I guess you could stay there, but it's probably best you take your ass inside. Anyway, and Angie simultaneously is having a fallout with Marcus. Despite his house and his money, he has micro penis because he had suggested to her she needed vaginal rejuvenation. And she was like, this coming from brother micro penis? And he was like, well, micro penis or macro pussy. I was like, okay, you disrespectful motherfucker. No. So anyway, she comes back home after that fight, and her and Quinn, she brings Quinn whatever kind of Italian cookie she likes and Funyuns. So Quinn is having a breakdown, and Angie is there for her. Angie basically is like, well, now I don't have to move out, you know. I mean, they're, you know, there for each other like friends. And she doesn't understand why nobody will love her. And it's just kind of like, yeah, some people do have bad luck with love. I think it becomes really destabilizing emotionally for some people when they've been socialized to think their whole life that they are supposed to get married. It's supposed to happen this way. it's supposed to be this way. And then when it doesn't, rejection becomes very difficult, particularly as you get older. You start thinking about having kids and that kind of thing. So I actually feel like that was a real scene. So Quinn and Angie, nevertheless, are solid friends and roomies again. So Camille shows up at Ian's job, I guess, to return the favor, and he's a chef. She all up in the kitchen without a mask in New York. Okay. So she tells him she loves him and she wants to move forward. Apparently, he's a Scorpio, and they don't let nothing go, and they hardcore. Now, that one thing is true. Anyway, and he asked her, are you sure you want to be with a man that broke up with his fiance the day before their wedding and knew 6 months before I didn't want to marry her? And she says, yeah, like, we both have. I knew the way y'all was laughing about that breakup. Both of y'all had something wrong with you. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's my take on Harlem season 2, episodes 1 and 2. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to all of you who have. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.